Join me as I take on the challenge of exploring Koh Samui and trying to find out if I can actually change my mind about this place. Koh Samui, the tropical paradise of Thailand, known for its pristine beaches, crystal clear waters, and lush forests. I was beyond excited when I first booked my ticket, imagining myself relaxing on the beach, sipping coconut water, and indulging in delicious seafood. The brochures and travel blogs painted a picture of a tranquil and idyllic getaway. My friends who had visited before would rave about the island's beauty and tranquility. As I stepped off the plane, I was hit with the warm tropical air, and my excitement only grew. I envisioned myself taking romantic strolls on the beach, watching the sunset, and living the island life. The first few days were indeed amazing, with its picturesque landscapes and friendly locals. I thought to myself, this is it, I've found my ultimate vacation spot. But as the days went by, my initial excitement started to wear off, and the reality of Koh Samui began to set in. The island that was supposed to be a peaceful haven turned out to be an overcrowded and commercialized destination. I started to feel like I was in a tourist trap, with vendors and touts constantly trying to sell me something. One of the main reasons I was disappointed with Koh Samui was the sheer number of tourists that flooded the island. It felt like I was in a crowded city instead of a peaceful island. The beaches that were once pristine were now littered with trash and crowded with sunbathing tourists. The roads were congested, and the air was thick with the smell of exhaust fumes. The commercialization of the island was another major turnoff for me. Everywhere I looked, there were giant billboards and neon lights, screaming buy this, and do that. The local culture and charm were lost in the midst of all the commercial activity. It felt like I was in a theme park instead of a tropical island. The environmental issues were also a major concern for me. The island's once pristine beaches were now threatened by the increasing amount of trash and pollution. The coral reefs were dying, and the marine life was struggling to survive. It was heartbreaking to see the destruction of such a beautiful ecosystem. I remember taking a boat trip to a nearby island, and what I saw was devastating. The trash and debris in the water were a clear indication of the neglect and lack of care for the environment. It was a stark contrast to the paradise I had imagined. The local culture was also not what I had expected. Instead of being warm and welcoming, the locals seemed indifferent and even annoyed by the presence of tourists. I tried to engage with them, but they seemed more interested in making a quick buck off me than in sharing their culture and traditions. One of the most disappointing experiences was staying in a hotel that was supposed to be a tranquil oasis, but turned out to be a loud and noisy nightmare. The constant sound of construction and party music made it impossible for me to relax and unwind. I also encountered some shady characters who tried to scam me out of my money. They would approach me with fake smiles and friendly gestures, only to try and sell me something I didn't need. It was frustrating and annoying, and it made me feel like I was constantly on guard. Another experience that stuck with me was visiting the local night market. I was expecting a colorful and vibrant market filled with local goods and delicacies. Instead, I found a crowded and noisy market filled with cheap souvenirs and imitation goods. The vendors were aggressive and pushy, making it an unbearable experience. One of the most memorable moments of my trip was when I stumbled upon a small secluded beach that was tucked away from the crowds. It was a tranquil oasis, surrounded by lush greenery and crystal clear waters. For a moment, I felt like I had found the Koh Samui of my dreams. But even that was short-lived, as I soon realized that the beach was private property, and I was forced to leave. As I reflect on my trip to Koh Samui, I realized that it was a pivotal moment for me. It made me realize that sometimes our expectations and reality can be vastly different. It was a hard lesson to learn, but one that I will carry with me for a long time. My trip to Koh Samui was a roller coaster of emotions, from excitement and anticipation to disappointment and disillusionment. But it was an experience that made me grow and learn, and for that, I am grateful. So, what are your thoughts on Koh Samui? Have you been there, and did you have a similar experience? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more travel videos, be sure to check out my next video, where I explore a different destination.